Getting ready to buy or sell a home in 30, 60, or 90 days? Then check out BundleSelect.com to find out how you could save 20% or more on your entire transaction. Save on real estate, lending, and title. With BundleSelect.com, technology and a personal concierge are at your service to save you time and money. Bundle Select's hand-picked team of experts will compete for your business, so you'll save thousands of dollars by bundling all of these services. BundleSelect.com gives you all the control, including using your own realtor. I'm Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, and I have been on the radio educating consumers for years. By bundling services like real estate, lending, and title, you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Act now, and this new model could save you money on your move, lower your interest rate, or cover your closing costs. Visit BundleSelect.com. That's BundleSelect.com.
The estimated minimum savings are based on a comparison with the national average. Individual results may vary, and the estimated savings are not guaranteed. Bundle Select Inc. is a licensed real estate broker. California Bureau of Real Estate Broker license number 004666902.
Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Kuchera, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome in, Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thank you for those that are following us live on Facebook. We appreciate that very much. Continue to do so. As a reminder, we are trying to stay on schedule for the benefit of the consumers that follow the show. We are on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, unless I'm out of town or unless there's a holiday. We try to stick to that time frame. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, right around 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. For those that follow the show, watching us on the live feed on Facebook. Also, we'd love to have you download the podcast. That's, of course, is the most important. That way you could listen to the show, follow it at your convenience. A couple different places you get the podcast. You go to iTunes, just type in Real Estate Radio Live, or you go to our website, RERL-1525.com. You get the podcast there, Stitcher, iTunes, any of those locations. Most of you know by now, for almost 8 years that follow the show, the focus, the topic, education, and information. We try to provide consumers with great guests like we have today, content, information to help you, the consumer, make wise decisions in and around your real estate, and that's part of education. Things are changing, they're evolving in all industries, and we stay very focused on the real estate side. Lastly, before we get started here, if you need to reach me during the week, 408-838-9060, or you can always email Joe at reradiolive.com. All right, let me welcome in my guests. We have today on the call, which is very exciting, Sarah Richardson, who is a broker with Tru Realty. Today we're going to be discussing really just the evolution and the change of blockchain. So what will blockchain do to real estate? Most of you know I've talked about blockchain before as it applies to real estate now and what might look in the future. We have someone on the call today that's going to talk to us a little bit more about it. They're implementing it. They're starting to use it, so nothing like getting it right from the reality. So, Sarah, welcome in today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to have you on, and always good to have another fellow professional on that understands real estate, but even more importantly today, we're going to talk a little bit about blockchain technology and how it eventually will change real estate, maybe some of the things that's happening right now, and we'll look at different phases. So before we get started, Sarah, if you could just give our listeners a little bit, take a minute to give us a little bit about your background and then your current roles and responsibilities with Tru Realty.
Sure. Well, I kind of have a unique background. I didn't start as the traditional agent. I started in the commercial real estate sector, doing shopping center triple net leases, pad sales, and worked with some corporate tenants for a while. And the writing was on the wall when August 2008 happened. So I was kind of forced to find something else to do and quick. And then I put together a pro forma and I found some people with money and I said, you know what, guys, we're going to start fixing and flipping in the Phoenix market. And everybody said, you don't know what you're doing. You've never done this before. And I said, well, I don't think we're going to lose money. So let's just give it a try. And I kind of grew a fix and flip empire from 2009 to 2013 with those 4 individuals and started Tru Realty based to satisfy my fix and flip business. And ever since then, we've been in business since 2010. And 2014, we've really been focused on building the brand, building the brokerage, recruiting agents, and really getting a household name in the Phoenix market.
Very good. So primarily, are you just the one location in Phoenix? Is that where you guys are operating?
We're based in Scottsdale. Our office is in Scottsdale, but we service all of Phoenix Metro, Maricopa County, Pinal County. We have a little less than 100 agents right now. We are growing, and we do fully intend to build out the market.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit about blockchain, the technology, maybe for the benefit of the consumer. There's so much, maybe I think you and I would agree that, to one extent, there's, the Bitcoin, the blockchain, a lot of this stuff, AI, it's thrown around, it's used a lot. I think in some cases, people have the perception like, oh my God, am I missing something? Is this in full steam ahead category, or where are we? And, between the media and a lot of hype, and then of course we're in Silicon Valley, so, it's even triple.
You're in the hotbed.
It's even more so.
Yeah.
Anytime you say that word, it's funny that most people are talking about it, they're investing in it, but in some cases, in many cases, in many industries, it hasn't been implemented or even tested. So maybe if you could give the listeners kind of an overview of blockchain and, how it might relate to real estate, and then you could share some experiences of what you guys had kind of at an entry level.
Sure. And I just want to preface by saying I am not a developer, and I don't really understand how the code works. But you know what? The way I look at it is not everybody knows what www stood for when they were using the internet. So I feel like sometimes people get a little too technical and a little too overwhelmed when they don't understand something. So I think I'm good at explaining it like a fifth grader, and really just looking at the technology as like a sister of the internet, and something that we can leverage to decentralize. And I'm sure you've talked about that many times. To keep the code in order. It's harder to hack, even though I'm hearing that it is still hackable. And really, I think simplifying many of the processes that all different kinds of industries, including real estate, are seeing when it comes to internal process, external process, all of those things can be placed on a technology like blockchain. And so what we've seen, and we talk about this at home, my husband leads about 100 developers for Arizona State, so I do get a lot of the trickle-down technical terms at home. And we've been talking for a few years now about how blockchain would be great for a real estate transaction. How it would look, we weren't really sure, but we'd been talking about it forever. And I was on Facebook maybe about 9 months ago, and I saw a talk downtown Phoenix at Galvanize, and there was a gal that I had actually interviewed to work at Tru Realty maybe a year and a half ago, and she was leading a talk down at Galvanize about blockchain for real estate. I didn't even know what the name of the company was. I immediately Facebook messaged her, and I said, we need to meet. I need to hear about this. I want to know everything. So I end up meeting with her and find out that it's a third-party platform called Propy, PROPY.com, and they had, at the time, probably about 200 listings globally. And I said, well, I want Tru Realty to be the first brokerage that signs on in the Phoenix market, coming to find that I was probably the second brokerage that signed on in the entire country. And I just wanted to have our listings have the exposure, the global exposure through this Propy platform.
So through that...
Do you want me to go into what Propy is?
Yeah, through that, so you guys contacted them, and then have you guys had a transaction with blockchain yet, or are you still in the process of it? Tell us where you are.
We're still in the process. Yeah, so we signed on with Propy in the beginning of March. We have, I would say, anywhere between 20 and 60 listings at a time on the Propy platform. And it was a bit of a process because I had to make sure that the sellers were on board. I had to do an addendum to our listing agreement to make sure the sellers were okay, because ultimately if they did get an earnest deposit or what Propy calls a reservation on the listing, the seller needs to be prepared to accept any fiat or cryptocurrency for their listing, and that can be really overwhelming for somebody that doesn't even know what that is. So I had to have a pretty meaty listing agreement addendum drafted to make sure that the sellers were okay, making sure that we were all right accepting any reservations. So we have had some people snooping around. We've had a couple inquiries, but we have not received a reservation yet. And as soon as we do, I'm going to be talking to everyone about it because I'm really excited to get this done, because Propy has had one successful in Vermont and one almost, I think, in Beverly Hills. And they can facilitate a cash transaction with crypto or fiat, they're saying, in less than 7 hours. That takes down all international borders and have to deal with any of the international stuff.
in some cases, as I listen to this, and not just you, Sarah, but other conversations I've had about blockchain, in some cases, it's almost like we're putting the cart before the horse. And my point is that the blockchain, I quite frankly think the blockchain makes more sense than Bitcoin. But do you need one or the other to use both? So I guess my point is, if you're trying to get people to endorse and sign up and understand and use blockchain, do they also have to be comfortable using Bitcoin as well in that different currency?
Absolutely not. In fact, if there is someone interested, let's say, we have someone that wants to make a reservation on one of our listings tomorrow. Okay. And it's maybe somebody that wants to use Japanese yen. Uh-huh. So someone in Japan wants to purchase a Tru Realty listing. They can use yen through the blockchain currency, through the smart contracts that Propy provides, and get a successful transaction by using yen done in 7 hours or less. It does not have to be one of the cryptos built on the blockchain. Perfect. At all.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So that's what I think is special about it.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I agree with you. So that's a good explanation. I'm glad to hear that because, to me, this blockchain, even though it's got some ways to go, and I do think early adapters like myself, we're trying to educate ourselves every day and implement some strategies with it. It does make sense. Things are going to take time, this blockchain. But you could see, honestly, I don't know how you guys work the title and escrow in Arizona, but, that's big in California. And that piece alone, I think, would make a case for blockchain makes so much sense on the title and escrow side of a transaction.
100%. I think that's going to be the first part of our industry that it gets placed on the blockchain. I do.
Yeah.
I don't know if the title companies are going to like that, but
no, they're
not for me to worry about.
No, it'll be interesting the next 5 to 10 years in this industry. I report on it every day. I research on it every day. We do a lot of interviews, and it's interesting. It's exciting. I mean, I think it's great, but I do think that, like anything else, change is on its way. And for those that understand it, educate themselves on it, adapt to it, I think there's so much room for success, and it's very, very exciting. But, there's going to be those in the industry on all aspects, and I'll say real estate, the lending side, title and escrow, and many others that are going to, they'll fight this as long as they can. And, of course, there's the regulatory issues around it, too, with money and the use of money. And then title, like most of us know, it's when people think of title, they don't understand it's insurance companies that run this. Insurance companies, they're a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, definitely. And they've been taken care of for a while.
Yeah. So it's exciting. You guys are going to work on this. As something develops and you do get a transaction underway and complete, it'd be great to send us an email or contact us. I'd love to have you back on the air, of course, and talk a little bit about that.
Of course.
How do you see, since you're an innovator, Sarah, you're looking at this stuff. I mean, you've been in real estate for a while now. You have a successful business there. Do you see a big part of this playing out? Are your team members embracing this? Do you have to sell that to them when you're recruiting people and bringing them on? Do you talk about this? Tell me a little bit about how the culture is within your group.
Well, it kind of depends on how seasoned the agent is and the age of the agent. Mm-hmm. Everybody I've noticed has a different rate and how quick they adopt the technology that I introduce. And I'm not throwing tons of technology at them or trying to overwhelm our agents by any stretch, but when I implemented Slack a year and a half ago, I had probably 20% jump on board immediately. And then now a year and a half later, I probably have 85% adoption rate. That's just an example of how slow, after a year and a half of using a technology, it takes people to get their head around, right? Yeah. When it came to introducing Propy, same thing. I had a bunch of people on board. I can't wait to get my listings on. And other people being like, I don't know if I understand this. Let's wait and see. Now, people in the Phoenix market are savvy, and they know that Tru Realty is one of the few and the only brokerage that is adopting this technology. So I am getting other agents that are inquiring to join the team, wanting to be a part of it, wanting to be forward thinking. And so it is helping me grow the brand. Mm-hmm. And it's helping me attract people that are forward thinking as well. Additionally, the crypto space, kind of going back to that a little, I mean, we all know that those values are dropping. I don't know if we're about to see a bull market with that or not. I don't really have a good pulse. But, there's a lot of agents in Phoenix that are trading crypto. So they've those are some of the people that want to be a part of the Tru Realty brand and helping us grow and being a household name.
Very good. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break for the sake of our podcast. We're streaming live again on Facebook. Today we have On the line, Sarah Richardson with Tru Realty. We're having a discussion about blockchain technology. How will it affect real estate now and going forward in the future? This is Joe Kuchera at the Real Estate Radio Live. Again, we're going to take a quick 1-minute break. Stick with us for those that are watching us on Facebook. We'll be back with you in just a minute.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com.
Getting ready to buy or sell a home in 30, 60, or 90 days? Then check out BundleSelect.com to find out how you could save 20% or more on your entire transaction. Save on real estate, lending, and title. With BundleSelect.com, technology and a personal concierge are at your service to save you time and money. Bundle Select's hand-picked team of experts will compete for your business, so you'll save thousands of dollars by bundling all of these services. BundleSelect.com gives you all the control, including using your own realtor. I'm Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live, and I have been on the radio educating consumers for years. By bundling services like real estate, lending, and title, you could save tens of thousands of dollars. Act now, and this new model could save you money on your move, lower your interest rate, or cover your closing costs. Visit BundleSelect.com. That's BundleSelect.com.
The estimated minimum savings are based on a comparison with a national average. Individual results may vary, and the estimated savings are not guaranteed. Bundle Select Inc. is a licensed real estate broker. California Bureau of Real Estate Broker license number 004666902.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Joe Kuchera.
Welcome back in. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. If you're following us on the Facebook, I can get those crossed up every once in a while. Thank you for following the show. We appreciate that very much. We always take a quick break on our live feed so that we could get the podcast in sync, because this content information that we're talking about right today, my guest, the interview, of course, we record live and we do this on Facebook, but it becomes a podcast, so we want to be able to get set for that as well. On the line today, our guest is Sarah Richardson. She is with Tru Realty. The conversation today is about blockchain technology. And full disclosure, either one of us are experts, but we're having a conversation about how it might look, some of the early adapters, why you might want to learn more about it. In my opinion, as much as you can if you're in this industry, education and information is the most powerful thing, in my opinion, that we all have. No one could take that away from us. I mean, it's out there, it's available, it's a free country. My opinion has always been, if you're in a craft or a business, you have to continue to educate yourself on what's going on, and not only to be a better offer to your consumers, your customers, but what your customers want. You know, Sarah, one of the things that I do on a regular basis is continue research and collect data and information, then pass it on through my interviews, my shows. So I've said for a long time now, the last couple of years, what happens is we have a more educated, informed consumer. And once we know that, and this, of course, applies to all industries, but you and I are talking about real estate. Once we understand in this business we have a more educated, informed consumer, then guess what? That means they want things quicker, faster, more efficient, cheaper, more cost-effective. It just is. So we either argue that, fight that, or realize that that's, and I can't imagine that slowing down anymore. Can you?
Absolutely not. I mean, you know, you're with a first-time home buyer, and they expect the same services Amazon and Google deliver from your real estate business. Right. So absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I think that certainly it's not going to change overnight. It's still a relational business. You have to, this is a big transaction. Most of the time, you know, our data and research shows that nearly 90% of people, even though they do their research, they feel more educated and informed. But our research shows that almost 90% of people still want to use a realtor because they do appreciate the expertise. They appreciate the knowledge, the networking, all those things. However, the other side of it, they do want things quicker, faster, and cheaper. So we're talking about blockchain technology. I know we haven't done a transaction yet with it, but you guys are set up. You're waiting for that first one to happen. For the people that have had it, I know there's been a couple. Kind of walk us through it again, if you will. I know you kind of did earlier, Sarah, but I think for our listeners, again, to take us through it again of what it would look like or will potentially look like. And I know you guys haven't completed one yet, but your understanding to kind of walk through what it would
Sure.
look like for the consumer, how different it would be than kind of a traditional transaction.
Sure. So the way I understand it is, I mentioned earlier, we have majority, not all, I don't have all my sellers electing to place their listings in the Propy platform, but if a seller elects, we upload the listing just like we would upload something into Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, MLS, all that stuff.
All right.
And we upload the photos, we upload the price, and as long as you download the app Propy, and that's a free download, you can see all of their listings globally.
Okay.
So anybody in China, anybody in the Ukraine, Venezuela, a lot of these, countries where blockchain is really flourishing because the governments aren't so strong, they can see all of our listings, can see all of their listings. And so if somebody sees something that we have marked and wants to place a reservation, what they would do is just go through the platform and say, okay, I want to make a reservation on Tru Realty's listings. Immediately, I, as a broker, the listing agent would get notified, and then the general manager, the local manager of the Phoenix market at Propy would get notified. And then at that point, what we would do is we would draft our standard Arizona Association contract from seller to buyer. Tru Realty would do that, and we would upload it into the Propy platform. Okay. And we would have buyer and seller sign the contract within the platform. Then at that point in time, Propy would take over. They would be doing various transactions through their smart contracts. They would be contacting the title company and the escrow company and the recording company, and they would be handling the currency and trading it from whichever fiat. So a fiat currency is just a traditional local currency. Let's say in our previous example, it's yen, or if they wanted to use Ethereum or any crypto, they would take the fiat or cryptocurrency and transfer it in cash into USD and then send it into the title and escrow company and then record the deed. They're actually now not proposing any disruption of our current real estate process. They would just handle all of it. And they're saying by using and leveraging the blockchain that they can facilitate a cash transaction within 7 hours on a business day.
Got it. Very good. Well, it's certainly more efficient.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I understand that there's a lot of roadblocks coming ahead. You have the real estate piece, and then, I'm more familiar with the lending side. That makes so much more sense. And I know that they've done these tests before where they do the same thing. They've, from start to finish, they've funded a loan in less than 5 or 6 hours. So I know it could be done.
Wow.
I know it could be done, but unfortunately we have to wait and let it play out and make its case. And the reason why is because most consumers may or may not know this, but, this is an industry that's, there's a lot of compliance and regulation. And then on top of that, there's legacy systems like title and lending, and, they've been doing things the same way for so many years. And then, of course, let's face it, the other piece of it, it's interesting and kind of exciting to talk about new technology and blockchain and Bitcoin, but the truth of it is, I'd love to hear your opinion about this, Sarah. It's going to take the consumer some time to understand it and to trust it. Whether we would argue that the system we have today is outdated and doesn't make any sense, the bottom line is when people are very comfortable with something, it's hard for them to change, is it not?
Oh, 100%. And that's why, thankfully, as a race, we all have these early adopters that really push the new experiences, and that's where, the general public starts to catch on, but that takes a while.
Right.
Certainly, the internet was around for a long time until, the actual public started really using it and adopting it in their everyday life.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. So how do you see, outside of this blockchain, Bitcoin, how do you see the industry, the changes that are taking place? We're right in the Silicon Valley, and there is super expensive homes, of course, and the price points are crazy. But then, we'll switch gears a little bit, but just to talk about the industry, there's big players like Compass that are coming in, and they're putting the stake in the ground. They're saying, hey, listen, we're going to have 20% of all these top 17 or 18 major markets by 2020 with a lot of technology they're offering to their agents. How do you see two things. How do you see the industry playing out in the next couple of years? Do you see consolidation? Do you see just forced to, when you're hiring people, you have to force to be more competitive on what you offer to them as agents, and then even compensation programs. How do you see that over the next couple of years in your industry?
Well, that was a lot of questions, so let me try to remember all of them. So when it comes to the brokerage landscape, and, I've been following Compass and Homey and, some of these larger brokerages that have quite large development teams. Yeah. And I know what developers cost, and I know what you need to pay in order to produce proprietary code. And I'm sure you up there know that as well. So, it's interesting if these brokerages are becoming brokerages and tech companies, that's going to be really hard to compete with. So consolidation is definitely going to have to happen. I don't see that too much. Homey just came into Phoenix. They just announced about a month ago. I'm going to try to set up a meeting with them to figure out what their strategy is, because I'm just really curious to learn. I met with Compass at the Inman conference in January. Just really, really excited. I'm not afraid of it because I understand it, and maybe that's something I have to look for in terms of how I innovate as a brokerage owner. Do I need to start creating proprietary software and code? And maybe I do. I definitely see consolidation. I also see with inventory in Phoenix probably isn't as strong of a seller's market as San Fran, but we are in a full-blown seller's market. And so with that, the inventories are very, very low. Buyers are frustrated, and there's a lot of competition. I'm in the hotbed of the iBuyer. I mean, Open Door started here, OfferPad started here, and we've got Zillow Instant Offers.
That's right.
So it's a really unique landscape in Phoenix, and inventory is getting gobbled up. So I really think agents are going to be forced to come down a little on their fees. And as brokerages, we definitely need to be nimble and understanding to that, because it's really going to push the people who are working part-time in real estate out and really force people to specialize, work at this full-time, and really service the client and their need and their experience. Yeah. Because they're not going to be able to charge those traditional rates moving forward, I think.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with you. Well, before we go, kind of an overview, I think you kind of gave it to us, but it's always good to understand different markets. So Arizona, specifically Scottsdale, Phoenix, where you service, are you seeing, it sounds like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, a lot of the same things, lower inventory, tougher for the buyers. Is that the way you see it now? First question. And then isn't that going to change anytime soon, or you think that's going to be what you guys are going to be up against for a while still?
Well, I'm polishing the crystal ball right now. But I think we've got a couple more years of strong growth, 2 to 3 years, I'm hoping, for strong growth before we see a correction. But it doesn't look like anything is on the precipice of diving in Phoenix anytime soon. I really think we're going to continue to see interest rates up, inventories down, and the buyer demand high.
Very good.
For sure.
Well, before we go, if anybody's interested, listen to the podcast or on the website, they want to reach out to you, contact you for any reason, whether real estate area and real estate, maybe interest in Arizona, or to find out more about what you guys are doing, what's the best place to contact you, Sarah?
Sure. You can call the office at 480-327-6700. And also our website is www.trurealty.com, and that's true, T-R-U, realty.com.
Very good. Well, Sarah, thank you very much for your time. And what we'd like to do is, once you guys get that first transaction, give us a call or shoot us an email, and we'd like to have you back on the show. We really want to find out more and more about that. And I love the fact that you have embraced it, and you're in the middle of it, and you guys are working for that first transaction. So congratulations, just the fact that, you're doing that. You'd be surprised. I talk to a lot of people, and very few people are still shying away from even, moving in that direction. So good for you.
Thank you. We'll do our best, and hopefully we get something done soon, and I'll reach out.
Okay. All right. Take care, and all the best to you.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Joe Kuchera with Real Estate Radio Live. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you again for Sarah Richardson for a good show, talking a little bit about blockchain and what it might look like here in the near future. For more information, you can always go to RERL-1525.com. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon. Take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at RERadiolive.com.